Hi, this is Sarah Mikesell with the Dairy Site, and today we're here with Becca Culbertson. She's a technical support manager at Feedworks, and we're also joined by Don Larson, who is a technical ruminant sales manager at Feedworks. Thanks to you guys both for being here. I really appreciate your time. And today, Becca and Don and I are at a beautiful sunny day in Madison, Wisconsin at World Dairy Expo, and we certainly cannot complain about the weather this year, right? It's an absolutely stunning day. So, yeah, Becca, we're going to start with you. Give us an update on Feedworks and your offering to U.S. dairy producers.
Yeah, happy to. We have a carefully curated portfolio of dairy products. We offer a range of products some you've probably heard of. Calmin is a big one. It's a calcified marine algae that's a multifunctional buffer and highly available source of calcium and magnesium and 72 other trace minerals. We've got ETX5. That's a broad spectrum toxin mitigation product as well. E-Life is another popular one. That's a potent polyphenol-based antioxidant that can help spare some vitamin E in the diet. We've got Salmate. That's an encapsulated fish oil product that can help reduce inflammation and help with reproduction. Agalin, that's an essential oil blend used to boost efficiency in dairy cattle. And we have our very own Feedworks Lights line as well, which is a range of different electrolytes support that help maintain hydration in various scenarios. So we've got a lot of neat stuff on the horizon. We've got a lot of great research projects going on, so definitely keep up with us and see what we have in the pipeline.
Fantastic. That's awesome. Very good. Thanks. And Don, we're going to switch back over to you. What are you hearing about mycotoxin opportunities this year?
So actually the last couple of months have been fairly quiet. I've dealt with toxins for many years, and it's been kind of a quiet spell. But with some of the stressors that we had with early amounts of rain and whatnot, I think we'll start to hear more as it moves in. We kind of follow what the labs are telling us, what they're seeing in different regions. Of course, it's spread out across the country. But I think we're going to have some challenges as we move into winter and some of the new crops. Right now, new corn silage is coming on. Too early to tell.
All right. Very good. What is your advice around how producers can help mitigate some of the effects of mycotoxins in their feed?
Well, first of all, handling the feed properly, making sure that if you are needing different elements, what you need to do is pack your bunkers correctly, put it in at the right moisture, handle that feed correctly to start out with. But you will still be dealing with some toxins, and then the next phase is to make sure you start out with a healthy cow. Let's make sure the immune systems are where they're supposed to be. We have the correct energy balance, correct protein balance in those diets, and then be aware of what you are dealing with so that you're using the correct products that can maintain that balance of health with the cow and also mitigate the toxins themselves, whether it's through binding or through mitigation and denaturing those toxins.
Very good. I think really kind of testing too, right? To know what mycotoxins you have would be important, right?
Testing is very useful, but you have to realize there can be a lot of error that goes with testing. So you can take a lot of samples and not find what you're dealing with. So watching what's happening in your area, knowing which toxins other people are dealing with, they're finding, makes a big difference. Looking at the lab websites to know what they're seeing in different areas.
Right.
But sometimes it's not enough to test and think you don't have it. You need to treat those cows, keep them healthy, and you'll see responses on the cows whether you found it in the lab or not.
Very good. Well, thank you so much for that. And Becca, we're going to switch back to you. Feeding safe and high quality feed and keeping that rumen going is important. What are some of the things you're working on regarding buffering and maintaining an optimal rumen pH?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, keeping the rumen stable is one of the biggest keys to cow health and performance. And we know that early lactation cows are especially vulnerable in this period. And when that pH is dipping too low, I mean, you're going to start to see not only reduced fiber digestion, but also those metabolic ripple effects that can really impact milk production and animal health. So one area that we've been focused on is definitely looking beyond adding just any buffer or mineral source. What really matters, what we're finding, is how soluble and how functional those minerals are in the rumen. So you want to be using a multifunctional buffer to get more bang for your buck, right?
Yeah.
So Dr. Benjamin Wenner, he's with Feedworks USA. He presented some really interesting research at ADSA this past July.
Okay.
He kind of showed that different magnesium sources are going to vary widely in their solubility from nearly 0% to nearly 100%.
Wow.
So what we're seeing on the label, that percentage magnesium, doesn't necessarily always reflect what the cow is seeing, right? So with Calman, because it's a unique calcified marine algae source with a very high surface area, we consistently see high solubility of both the calcium and the magnesium in the product. So we're not only supplying bioavailable calcium and magnesium, but it's also giving that sustained dynamic buffering effect to help neutralize acid over time, which is pretty neat.
That is neat. Very cool. Well, thanks for that. Certainly, the rumen affects a lot of cow health, and that's important, especially around transition. What are you seeing as opportunities to keep cows on a healthy path during that critical transition period?
Yeah, I'd say there's some big opportunities in two areas. One that comes to mind is, again, just keeping the rumen as stable as possible. We want consistent feeding, we want effective fiber, and again, we want functional buffers and mineral sources, and that'll help the cows maintain their intake and maintain their energy balance through this challenging time. And second, I'd say there's growing recognition now that systemic inflammation, chronic systemic inflammation, is absolutely a hidden cost during this period. So we want to support the cows as much through the diet as we can. That might mean antioxidant strategies, bioavailable trace minerals, different additives that target inflammation, have bioactives that target inflammation. That's going to be very promising and help us to limit inflammation during this time.
Very good. And our last question, as we look into 2026, what are some of the things producers will need to keep in front of mind when they think of nutrition and ration building?
Yeah, absolutely. I think something to keep in mind is hidden stressors, right? I feel like we're learning more and more that there's a lot happening under the surface that we can't see. So we want to build resilience to things like mycotoxins, oxidative stress, chronic low-grade inflammation. These don't always show up in the bulk tank report right away. So we want to be proactive because these things are going to chip away at performance over time. So I feel like we're seeing a lot more interest in using layered strategies, broader spectrum approaches, pairing, mycotoxin mitigation tools with added dietary support, like I talked about, to help those cows cope with any sort of underlying oxidative stress, inflammation that will result from that. A lot of antioxidants, phytogenic feed additives. I think that's important. That'll help the cows cope with those things that we can't see and we don't exactly know what's going on in the system. I think, too, boosting efficiency, that's always a big part of the conversation, right? How can we get more? That might look like, supporting transition cows, using, again, anti-inflammatory tools. We got omega-3s, using plant-based additives, essential oils that'll help boost feed efficiency, boost milk production. But I'd say looking towards those science-backed solutions that are going to help the cows during those periods of extra stress and just help them produce more. That's what's going to separate the good from the great in 2026, I'd say.
Very good. Thank you so much. I appreciate all the information from both of you. It's always good to get an update, especially, too, on what's happening in the mycotoxin world as corn harvest comes to a close here in the United States. So thanks again. This is Sarah Mikesell with the Dairy Site.